This video is brought to you by FLOWER Magazine. See the description of this video to subscribe now and receive 6 copies each year for more beautiful interior design, flowers, and gardens.
I went on Google Earth and saw the situation of the house because we were doing this before it was actually built, a lot of our design, and saw that there were woods, not only the garden by John Howard that I can see through the bay, I could see the woods. So really it was an into the woods inspiration. Hello, I am Barry Dixon. I've designed the formal library upstairs. My company is Barry Dixon, Inc., and I'm very happy to be here today with FLOWER Magazine in this beautiful new show house. Well, I was fortunate. I had a corner room, and I knew I was doing a library. Peter Block, the architect, is a friend of mine. I know him, and his work is just beautiful. And we had conceived a paneled room. We thought we'd do natural oak, quarter sawn, with built-in shelves. That would be a nice corner to the house. And I thought too, since it was for FLOWER Magazine, I would explore the more masculine side of botanica, and botanicals, and the flora of the region and the inspiration of such things on our interiors. I really wanted the eye to be rewarded in every corner. The room is set up almost like the solar system. I wanted everything in orbit in this wonderful room because I had curves and it was a corner. I had these concave curved doors that opened into the room from the hallway. And I thought, well, I'll put something dead center and I'll let the room revolve around that. So I found a center table from Cox, London that I had made in bronze with quail feathers, making a wonderful sort of floret on the top, and I centered that on my new rug for Kyle Bunting that I've designed as homage to FLOWER Magazine for Margot and the ladies here. It's our dahlia, inspired by the dahlias in my cutting garden in Virginia. So that's center stage, and then the rest of the room is like being in a planetarium and sort of rotating and seeing everything. You have a focal wall with a beautiful Chesney's fireplace, screens that we do for our collections with Iatesta Studios, our Phantom Furniture series, pedestals and screens, with 18th century busts of a British scientist that were actually people that were charting different botanical classifications. So I thought that would be an appropriate duo to hold court left and right of the formal fireplace. As we pan around to the room to the right, we get to that bay window, which I imagined is a sleeping alcove. Jefferson, a lot of my, Sir John Soane, a lot of these guys, like me, kind of stay up all night in our libraries and work and do things in our studios. So I wanted that sort of feeling of someone at work and something being learned in the library, and I wanted it to be kind of real. And I tell you, in the middle of the afternoon, and especially on a fall day, winter day with our dog, I think I'd nap in there all the time in my library, and I have a day bed there. So you can actually cordon off with the curtains that we designed with Tyler Graphics, which were a custom botanical hand block print that we did based on sort of Herculean scaled, these titanically scaled roses with thorns and vines. Sort of deconstructing the sweetness of that and adding the strength and the power of the natural world into our notions of what we were going to play with. Then you've got books, rows and rows of books that are carefully put together so that you could find what you're looking for. If you look on the bookshelves, the way we like to set up a library is some little object or something that's a guide to your eye and brain to tell you what you might see there. Say a book of biographies of famous women, especially women that influenced gardening and horticulture and design. I've got a resin apple there. Eve represents females. I've got, say, for the natural history order of things, I have small statues of animals that I've collected over time. Of course, we've got globes. We've got de facto sitting area so that you could pull a book out. I use that center table as like a reading area for the family to come to. I even put children's books in there on shelves that they could reach so they could come in there and be with mom and dad if you were in the library while dinner was being made next door in Suzanne's incredible kitchen. I really wanted the library to be a retreat to the natural world. The kids could be in there doing homework. I wanted the library to be used, not just to be a room that you open the door when you have a party and let people look in. I want it to be an everyday facet of life in this home. I've worked on several libraries with my friend Kinsey Marable, who has access to books I just can't find. I don't care how long I would search on eBay and go into musty, dusty bookstores, which I happen to love. I still do that. But I can't always put a comprehensive library together in any reasonable amount of time without consulting him for help. So I've used him on several libraries that we put together, including every tome I have on the shelves here came from Kinsey. He found them. You can give him, as I did, subject matter that the client might be interested in. For in this case, again, we have English literature, poetry, Western and English, history of the United States, hunting, safaris, gamekeeping. We wanted, again, this sort of masculine aside in the Flower Showhouse. And I don't think mine is the only one by any means, but I wanted it to be one of those voices. We've used a lot of the things that we are lucky enough to design in collections that we have for different companies. I've used my upholstery pieces, the new upholstery here from Tomlinson Companies with our sofa, our revolving lounge chairs. I've used my tea tables with the mirror and bronze. I've used vases, because I like these large-scale vases you'll see. Keith has done a fantastic job with my flowers, which are basically tree limbs that arbor over the center of our room so that we really are out there in the woods. There's a Walden-esque quality to the things that we selected and brought inside. Julian Chichester, I took one of his wonderful stingray-covered settees that I bought, and I reimagined the upholstery with our fabrics from Vervain. I bought an auction actually in Scotland. They were accessioning some of the things from part of Balmoral. And with all that had been in the news this year with Scotland and England and the Queen's passing, I thought as homage to that, I'd bring this chair that came from Balmoral. It used to be in Queen Victoria's favorite first cousins, Princess Dagmar from Scandinavia, from Sweden. She did a bedroom for Princess Dagmar to stay in, and this came from Princess Dagmar's room. And I've covered it in one of our fabrics for Vervain. I've also used Curry & Company lighting and lamps, of course Circa lighting, my sconces, my wired fixtures, swing arms, my lantern over the center table, all from them. Philip Jeffries with the wonderful washed crosswoven. It's not a grass cloth, it's like a straw weave and a nice texture that absorbs a lot of sound. I put riveted nail heads from Dakai around the ceiling to sort of seal the room. S-E-A-L and C-E-I-L, because it sort of hermetically seals it and at the same time quietens the room. I had all those hard wood floors and walls, and I wanted something that would absorb a little sound. We do need a little quiet sometimes when we're reading. I will say I've done a lot of show houses, and the talent in this one is paramount. The roster of designers that have worked on the house, I feel like I'm friends with virtually every one of them, but it's maybe the best group I've ever done a show house with. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Peter Block is a talented gentleman. He puts his best foot forward in the new world while retaining the beauty of the past. He gives it a fresh breath. And that's echoed in the gardens that John Howard has done. Again, I'm lucky that I've had the good fortune of working with these gentlemen before, and with many of these ladies and gentlemen that are doing the rooms. Ray Booth and I both designed for, say, Arteriers. Michelle Nussbaumer and I both designed for Vervain fabrics. Suzanne Kasler, of course, we've all, our paths cross so much. I've been on panels, speaking panels, coast to coast and beyond, abroad, with probably 15 of the people that are here in the show house with me. So it's a convention of old friends, the way I'm looking at it. And we're really excited to be here with Margot and Suzanne and Karen and the group and Flower Magazine. It's a stunner. And I'm going to take this opportunity to invite everyone that might see the show house and see this to start following, as I do, Flower Magazine on YouTube. This is a great introduction if you don't know it. And if you do already know it, as so many of us do, it's a celebration of what they're doing. And you can do more on the YouTube vehicle with the format of that than you can necessarily put just inside the pages of the magazine. So it's a wonderful tool to use in tandem with the magazine itself, and we hope you'll join us there on YouTube.